thank you that we can know you as our dad. U is ons groot pa in die hemel. Maak nie saak wat met ons gebeur het nie. Ons kyk almal op vandag. And we know that everything we need today is found in you. It's found in you. It's in that seed that you deposited in each one of us when we got born again. We are born again from a heavenly seed. En daarom kan ons uitroep vandag, Abba, Vader. Dankie Here, dat U elkeen van ons ken, beter as wat ons onsself ken. Dat U ons by ons naam roep. En ek verlang om ons almal toe te vou, naby aan U bors vandag. En ons dankie Here, dat U ook bekend is as El Shaddai, the many-breasted one. Here, waar ons seer gekry het as kinders, waar die wêreld hard was met ons, waar ons wonde opgedoen het, kan ons vandag na U toe draai. En alles wat ons uitgemis het, kan ons kry vandag in U. En ons sê, dankie, dis nooit te laat. It's never too late with you, Lord. There is still time with you, and we thank you for your grace and your mercy. In the name of Yeshua, Jesus, our Messiah. Amen. Dankie. Ek wil net hoor, ons het gisterand baie lekker gekuier en ek weet daar was van julle wat nou nie gisterand kon kom nie en wat nou vandag by ons aangesluit het. Ons het nou gisterand baie fondasie gelê om te kyk wat is die verskil tussen my gees en my siel. En dit is verskriklik belangrik dat jy dit verstaan. Because you see there's a difference between wounds in the spirit and wounds in the soul. And you need to know how to pray, how to open up. What is the process of healing? En ons het ook gekyk waar die papas van die huis is veronderstel om my te leer van my gees. Dis die pa se job. Maar baie van ons het dit nie gehad nie. En ons het ook gesien hoe jou geesmens moet groei. Al hoe jou gees kan groei is deur blessings. And what we saw was many of us were never blessed. We didn't have earthly fathers that blessed us. En so baie van ons geesmens is maar swak en maar anoreksiek en siel het maar oorgevat. Siel het maar gelei. En ons het maar soos die wêreld ons geleer het, jy moet eerste wees, jy moet die beste wees. En as jy nie was nie, as jy nie gekies is vir die eerste span nie, as jy nie eerste in die klas gestaan het nie, het jy altyd second best gevoel. En die verwerping was maar altyd daar. But you see, that is what the world system teaches us. If I live by the soul, that's what I'll believe. En so baie van ons moet leer om met ons gees te praat, om te sê, soul man, step aside. Spirit man, come forward. En vat die leiding. Maar as jy nie eers weet, hoe God jou gemaak het nie, want dis wat jou pa veronderstel was om vir jou te sê. En baie van ons het dit nooit gehoor nie, dan sukkel ons. Ek sukkel om by die Here te hoor, ek sukkel om hom te ervaar. Hierdie song is so beautiful. When I come into your presence. Nou weet ek nie, hoe het julle gevoel toe julle dit sing? Kon jy voel dat ek in sy teenwoordigheid genuine inkom? That this is a holy God. I'm coming before you, Father. En dan, where I come to you face to face. Ek kom nie net om u hand te soek, bless my, bless my, bless my nie. I don't want you just to give me favors, but I've come to seek you face to face, because I want to know you as my dad. Ek wil nie net 'n chick hê nie, ek wil nie net bless my nie, but I've come to seek you, and I really want to know that I'm in your presence. Maar wanneer ek met my siel leef, sukkel ek met hierdie een. Ek sukkel regtig om te weet hoe is dit om in sy teenwoordigheid in te kom. And so we really need to say to the Father, what limitations, want gisterand het ons gekyk, wat is die verskil tussen 'n blessing en 'n vloek. A curse is when there's been limitations placed upon you. When you've been restricted. Ek het julle gesê hoe, as ek so kyk na my boeties, en as gevolg van my pa sy drank en sy stikkend, en die wonde wat gekom het, waar my pa nie my boeties in hulle manlikheid geseën het, en he didn't affirm them in their manhood, en hoe hulle deur die lewe gegaan het, they were so filled with insecurities and fears and in uncertainties. Ja, gaan ek dit kan doen? Ek weet nie. Het ek die kwaliteit om hierdie job te doen? Ek weet nie. And didn't believe in whatever was inside of them. They didn't know what their gifts and their talents and their abilities were, because that's what a dad is supposed to see and bless and bring it forth. Hoeveel van ons kan dit sê? Ons eie papas was so stikkend. But God is busy doing a new work. And he's busy training, en hy leer vir ons soveel meer van geesmens. Ek dank die Here, ek bly in hierdie tye. Weet nie hoe voel julle nie, maar ek so bly, ek was nie 'n voortrekker jare terug, wat seep moes kook, en halleluja vir 'n mikrogolfoond en 'n wasmasjien. Is julle nie bly nie? And you know, God determined the times that we live in, and I'm so grateful that we live in these times, but there's also a responsibility that goes with it. And so it's truly the end times, and God is doing a new thing amongst his people. There's a fresh wind blowing, 'n hongerte wat ons sien oor die wêreld. Wat mense net sê, but we want truth. Ons wil nie meer kerk speel nie. What is truth? Where is God? En ons het al so gesien hoe mense, jy weet, hoe hulle omval en dan staan hulle op en hy stil the same. Come on, what is it all about? Do I really, what is the limitations? What's the restrictions that's been placed upon my life? En ek wil ook vir julle aanmoedig, dat ek weet, daar's van julle wat nou op daai website van my klim, en julle weet hoe ek die bediening so 30 jaar terug begin het. Ek het 'n geestelike moeder, Tannie Bert, sy bly hier in Pretoria. Sy is nou op pensioen. En Tannie Bert het vir my kosbare geestelike lesse geleer, en een van die goed wat sy gesê het, my kind, in hierdie bediening vat jy nie 'n beursie saam met jou nie. Die Here gaan na ons kyk. En van die begin af het ek gesê, everything's freely available, it's not mine, it's God's. I will not make a business of the calling of God. Wat ek het, is genade. What he taught me is grace. And so it's freely available, en ek weet, julle het al vir my kon vertel, geloof die Here vir die internet, halleluja vir Google. Dis so lekker om in hierdie tye te leef. There's of course, jy weet die plus en die minus natuurlik ook, nee, met die knoppies. Julle weet van die negative knoppies ook, nee. Maar die positive knoppies, wat ons vir die koning kan gebruik. En die internet, die website, en waar ouens gaan en die goed aftrek. En dis vir my so joy om dit te hoor. Ek raak so opgewonde, because God is doing, he's building a network much bigger than what a human being could do it. It's God's work. En dis vir my so joy. Maar wat ek julle wil aanmoedig, don't just take the prayers and pray it soos 'n papegaai. Ek wil julle aanmoedig om deur die hele kursus te werk, soos Marita gesê het, dis effort. En wat baie lekker is 'n mens in 'n groep dit doen. En jy encourage mekaar, en na elke DVD bid jy vir mekaar, want dis 'n hele counseling session. Elke DVD is 'n counseling session. Maar jy sien, jy moet verstaan hoe dit werk. En wanneer dit kom by dinge in die gees, wat's God se patroon? Ek het in die begin, toe ek nou hoor van God se krag en al hierdie dinge, toe wil ek net die Here zap my, want dan's ek reg. Maar die zap het nie gekom nie, en ek sê, ag Here, help, hoekom vat dit so, dat dit is 'n proses? Toe sê die Here, maar dis my patroon. As jy kyk na God se patroon in die Bybel, dan sien jy wat hy met sy volk gedoen het. It's not that God can't, maar dis waar's ons. I have to learn to fight. I have to learn to stand. And so if I look at the pattern in the Bible, I see what God did was he brought the people out of Egypt through the blood of the lamb. Julle ken die storie. Ons is nou deur Passover. Ons kom uit Egipte land. But then there's the process. There's the process of getting Egypt out of us. Of teaching us to fight. Want die Here het gesê, hy het spesifiek dat hulle om daai pad stap, because they had to learn to fight. Dis 'n proses om al die junk uit ons uit te kry, om te verstaan waaroor dit gaan. En so dis 'n studeer van die woord, it's the renewing of the mind, wat ons gisterand na gekyk het, how do I save my soul? Kyk, to be born again is instant. I'm born again. That's just justification. But now sanctification knows dit 'n pad. En dit is die pad wat God sy volk uitgelei het. And it was a step by step. And God said, I'm not going to chase all these in the promised land to get rid of all the evil spirits one shot. En God kon dit doen. But he said, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it little by little. So that the wild beasts won't devour you. Step by step. En so ek wil julle aanmoedig, dit wat ons saam gesit het, die journey to freedom, is die kursus. And it takes you by the hand. And it leads you step by step. En jy begin te verstaan wat die proses is. Jy begin woord in jou in te kry. Jy begin te verstaan, as ek nou die bevryding doen en ek maak daai deur toe, hoe staan ek? How do I resist the enemy that he doesn't come back? Jy sien, as jy net die klomp gebede vat en jy bid dit net soos 'n papegaai, en nou dink jy dit moet breek, en volgende week is alles weer terug. Dan sê hulle, man, dit werk nie, dan sê ek nou, wat het jy gedoen? Nee, as ons net die gebede gebid, doesn't work that way. Please, I encourage you. You've got to do it God's way. Work the process. Go through it. En laat God vir jou train, laat hy jou leer. It's not a zap. God's pattern is not an instant zap. To be born again, yes. He puts the seed inside, that incorruptible seed inside of you, and you are now child of God. But I've got to get Egypt out of me. And that is the process. That is the journey. Almal van ons is op 'n journey. And so what we're really trusting God for is that as you listen this weekend, that God will soak you and you will start to really understand. Daar's van julle wat die Here ons gewys het, you're busy coming out of a tunnel. Van julle is al lekker ver uit. En julle is reg om te begin te bedien. Julle is reg om to start equipping others and training others. Some of you are still coming out of dark places, but you all on a journey, you're coming out into the freedom of what Jesus died for. Nou, ek wil iets met julle deel. Onthou ek het vir julle gesê, ek is 'n skynat juffrou gewees. Nou, julle weet my van is buis. Julle weet wat was die bynaam wat die kinders vir my gegee het, juffrou proefbuis. So, ek wil nou so 'n bietjie skynat met julle leer, want julle weet, al die jare het die wetenskaplikes mos gesê, ag man, die Bybel, is net vir stupid ouens. En jy weet, come on, just give us the science. En interessant, een van my jongste dogter, sy raak verlief op hierdie oukie, en hy het groot geword as 'n evolutionist. En nou sê vrou Debbie, hou verby, daar's nie 'n manier nie. Hy is so scientific, sy pa is so scientific, hoor hierso, dis net evolution. Jong en Rowley en ons ander skoonseun spring in, hulle begin evolution op te swat, nee, want hulle moet nou argumente kry, want as dit nou Pop se toekomstige man is, nou moet ons moet die saak nou werk. Jo, en het hulle nou die goed opgeswat. Ja, en dan kom hy met hierdie argument, en dan halleluja, dan het hulle net weer 'n ander argument. En so het ons sy met sy kop toe nou, later nee, is reg. En Debbie is so verlief soos kan kom. En sy sê, ma, is dit my man? Ek sê, my pop, jy moet by die Here hoor. Ons bid. En sy en pa skryf 'n petisie. Nou, die van julle wat nog nie weet hoe om petisies te skryf, nie, asseblief leer hoe om 'n petisie te skryf, is op die website. Skryf, en daar agter is boeke. Sy skryf 'n petisie met haar pa, maar hoorie julle, sy huil. Elke woord wat sy skryf, Here, as dit nie my man is nie, dan vra ek Vader dat U hom sal wegvat, maar Vader, ek vra dat U hom sal seën met die perfekte vrou. Ag Here, dan huil sy. dit is so swaar. Maar sy lê hom op die altaar, want jy sien, wanneer jy rarig oor iets bid, en dis 'n groot besluit, kyk, troue is groot. God het 'n altaar. Kom lê daai ding op die altaar. As die vuur hom verbrand, it's not yours. It's a very good way of praying. Bring it to God's altar. Sê, Here, not my way, not my will. You know best. I lay this person down. Hierdie huis, hierdie kar, hierdie what job, whatever. Vader, ek sit dit op die altaar. If it's not mine, burn it. Let your fire do the testing. En sy het hom neergelê soos Isak op die altaar. En sy sê toe, Here, teen Desember, einde van hierdie jaar, reg of weg. Maar sy huil. En julle sal nie glo nie, maar hier is seker die 23ste, 24ste Desember. Toe die man vir haar gaan kuier, sy is in Engeland, en hy is daar, en hulle Skype, maar hy huil soos 'n baba. Hy sê, if I'm going to be part of this family, I've got to tell you all my sins. En hy begin dit te bely, en hy pak alles uit. En toe hy nou klaar is, kyk, ek sê, Debs, ek dink dis jou man hierheen. Nou, sy is getroud met hom, en hulle het hulle dogtertjie. So ons het baie geleer van hierdie science, en evolution, en al daai goed. Maar nou wil ek vir julle iets fantasties wys, uit die wetenskaplike wêreld. En, kom, laat ons sien, waar was sy nou, daar sy. Iets wat hulle nou toetse opdoen, en julle kan gaan oplees daar op internet, is vol van dit. But it's about the Shroud of Turin. Ek weet nie of julle al, ek het jare al daarvan gehoord, en dacht ek, ag man, dis 'n katholieke storie hier. Ja, gaan my nou nie steur aan dit nie, is 'n foefie. En ek sit dit op die rak, en is gone. Maar as 'n vrou, wat toe besluit het, nou wys, sy gaan dit nie los nie. She wants to study it more. En daar's natuurlik baie nuwer toetse en goeters wat hulle dit kan na kyk en bewys. En wat hulle toe uitvind is, kom ons kyk net vinnig na hierdie prophecy en koek. Nou het ons nie klank nie. Ons het nie klank nie. Sorry, julle, ek sal hom moet skiep. Maar dis julle kan dit Okay, want dis nou daar, so hy is nou nie vreeslik hard nie. Maar dit gaan oor, het julle klank? Okay, dis alright, ek dink hulle het probeer uitvind oor die klank en die goed. Maar dit gaan oor Prophecy in the News, wat die onderhoud hou met 'n man, wat toe nou begin het, L.A. Marsuli is die ou se naam, en hy het toe begin kyk na die shroud. En hy kom toe af op hierdie nuutste eksperimente, wat hulle begin ontdek het. Dit is briljant. Kyk, enige evolutionist se mond is nou toe. As hy hierdie goed sien, kom ons kyk net, what the shroud is proving is the science of resurrection. Man, dit is so groot. And Yeshua did, in fact, rise from the dead. Nou, dis 'n bewys. Hy het uit die dode uit opgestaan. Scientific. Dis absolute amazing. Let's look more closely at science. Wat ons hier sien is, there's new evidence, because of the new tests that they've done. There's new evidence around the shroud. It's taken from 2009, an article by Chuck Missler. Now, Chuck Missler is a Christian scientist. A very reputable guy. He's been on God TV. Ag, hy het boeke geskryf. Regtige solid ou oom soos oom Derek Prince. Solid oomie. The Shroud of Turin is arguably the single most studied artifact in human history. Dit het mense al gefascineer. Hulle het opgekom met allerlei interessante goed. Ag nee man, dis iemand wat 100 jaar terug gesit en verf het op die doek. En dit is nou, hierdie doek is wat hulle glo, die doek was wat Jesus toegedraai het. En daar's absolute afdruk, julle gaan nou die doek sien, 'n afdruk van 'n manlike liggaam, die voorste deel en dan die agterste deel van die man op die doek. En nee man, is opgeverf en dis 'n foefie. Maar nou is daar ander toetse wat hulle kan doen. It is a piece of ancient linen measuring 14 feet 3 inches long by 3 feet 7 inches wide. The blood-stained surface of the shroud is marked with a negative image of the undistorted front and back sides of a naked man who appears to have been severely beaten and crucified. Daar is hy. So, daar kan julle sien hoe die doek die man toegedraai het, voor en agter. Dis hoe die doek lyk. Nou met die nuwe toetse het hulle amazing goed uitgevind. Hier is hierdie dame, haar naam is Dame Piczek, became fascinated by the total absence of distortion of the shroud image, a physical impossibility if the body had been lying on a solid rock. So as die liggaam bly lê het, is it impossible dat dit so 'n perfekte foto is geneem, bo en onder. Want as die liggaam bly lê het, sou daar nie so foto kon uitgekom het nie. And sy besluit to, but there's a lot more technology and I'm going to study this more. I want to see what's going on here. Piczek's work strongly suggests that the image of Jesus was projected as quantum hologram. Now, quantum physics is nie baie lank wat quantum fisika al aan die gang is nie. And so with quantum physics, there's a quantum hologram onto the cloth as his body underwent the process of resurrection. Wow. So daar, dis wat hulle reken wat gebeur het, is, kan julle sien, daar is die lap bo, en daar is die lap onder, en daar is die liggaam. So, to get that perfect photograph, wat hulle op die doek sien, kon hy nie plat gelê het nie, hy moes gelewetheid het. So there was resurrection. Okay, the power of the resurrection left an imprint onto the shroud. So wat die Here gedoen het, is hy het 'n foto gelos vir die scientists van ons dag. Isn't that amazing? He's left proof vir hierdie ouens wat wil slim wees. He's showing he's the God of science. And so what we see, daar sien ons, wat hulle hier bewys, daar is die liggaam, hy het geleviteer, die doek het styf getrek bo en styf getrek onder in die foto is geneem. Dis wat hulle nou kan bewys met kwantumfisika. Weereens, daar sien ons die foto. And not only an image, but a hologram. So met ander woorde, dit is 3D. Nou 2000 jaar terug het hulle niks van 3D geweet nie, maar ons God het. And so what they've seen is that it's not only an image, but a hologram from which scientists could make a 3D picture. So dis wat sy toe as 'n wetenskaplike met hierdie lab toe bewys. En dis nou, toe hulle nou die 3D prente, dit is hoe hy Messias sou gelyk het, daar binne-in. Volgens die, kan julle die wonde sien? Volgens dit wat op die lap uitgekom het, dis hoe hy gelyk het. And now how does all of this relate to us, vandag? In coming to Messiah Yeshua, we are born from above. Nou wat beteken dit? Ons het nou gisterand met die kersies gewerk, Adam en Eva en die lig. But what does it mean? 1 Peter 1 verse 3 and 4. Praised, honored, blessed be God the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ the Messiah. By his boundless mercy we have been born again to an ever-living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead. So wat het ons hier? 'n ever-living hope through the resurrection. So ek moet presies verstaan, wat is resurrection? Wat is hierdie saad wat binne in my geplaas is? When I became born again, born anew into an inheritance which is beyond the reach of change and decay. It's imperishable. So ek het 'n erfporsie wat nie kan vergaan nie, want dis in die hemel. Dis wat die woord sê. Unsullied and unfading, reserved in heaven for you. So daar's 'n erfporsie, eternal life. Philippians 3 verse 10, that I may know him. Dis I come into your presence, liedjie wat ons gesing het, and I see you face to face. I may know him and the power of his resurrection. Ek moet dit ken. Ek moet weet wat het met my gebeur. What happened to me at the point of being born again? And this is what the shroud is proving. Dis wat dit vir ons sê vandag. Wetenskaplik word dit nou bewys. Into the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his suffering, being made conformable unto his death. And that's what happens at Passover. En dis iets om oor te dink, en ons weet ons is nou deur hierdie fees, wat nou Passover, Pesach, wat gebeur het. And that was a declaration of a feast. I was born again. The blood of the lamb is on the doorpost of my heart. Ek kom uit Egypte land, dat die wêreld het nie meer 'n houvas op my nie. I'm on a journey. I'm going to the promised land. Ek gaan my beloftes vat. My erfporsie waarvoor Jesus gesterf het. And so, have you experienced his awesome resurrection power? Ek het vreeslik gesukkel, want met 'n wetenskapkop het ek probeer dit uitwerk en verstaan met my kop. But you see, this is spiritual. This is to do with my spirit man. I can't work it out with my soul. En ek het probeer. En baie van ons probeer met ons siele God verstaan en die Bybel verstaan en die dinge uitwerk, but you can't. It's supernatural. It's to do with spirit. And that is why we have to call spirit man forward. I have to feed spirit man to get strong so that I can learn to walk in the spirit and not in the flesh. Maar ek moet verstaan wat het met my gebeur toe ek tot wedergeboorte gekom het. Dit wat ons gisterand gedoen het met die kersie. And so this new evidence, it tells us, kom ons kyk weer die prentjie, die voor en die agterkant. En daar is die lap, en in die oomblik van die opstanding, daai krag, wat Jesus Christus uit die dode uit opgewek het. The scientists call this, they have a specific name, and they say it is a moment in time when all things became new. Is dit nie amazing nie? En dit was op daai oomblik, toe Jesus uit die dode uit opstaan, en daai lappe, die doeke wat hom toegedraai het, word styf gespan. God knew years and years down the line, he's going to have to prove this scientifically. En hy maak 'n 3D hologram foto op die lap, wat hulle nou kan bewys, that this is what really happened, and that he raised, there he is, he's not lying down, he's raised, en die doek word styf gespan om die foto te neem. The power of the resurrection left an imprint on the shroud, 'n foto. En daai foto kon hulle nou in 3D kon hulle dit toe nou bewys. Okay, there it is. Daar is hy styf gespan met Jesus Christus wat daar lê. And so what does it tell us? That same resurrection power, when a new moment in this history of this world happened, was toe daai opstandingskrag, toe hy daai foto wat geneem is, when that happened, there was a new thing that happened on this earth, scientifically, want before Christ and after Christ, julle weet alles word verwys, né? Before Christ and after Christ. En die resurrection. Nou julle moet verstaan dat daai selfde opstandingskrag is wat binne in jou is. Your spirit is now seated with Christ in heavenly places. Dis net amazing, dat jy dit kan besef, dat jou sieldimensie, jou sielkoppie, hy sukkel om dit te verstaan, because it's spirit. It's spirit. En dit is wat die wetenskaplikes absoluut uitbul. They cannot, hulle kan dit nie nou betwis nie. En die top evolutionist, hulle het 'n onderhoud met hom gevoer. As julle belangstel in hierdie goed, kan ons vir julle die klips, ons kan vir julle die link stuur van die klips. Maar hy doen 'n onderhoud met hom. En die een ou, en hy vra vir hom, and so how did the world begin? Well, you know, en nou sy teorie wat hy gehad het, werk nou nie meer nie. It's now flawed. They've proved him wrong. En nou begin hy te sê, but there must have been a bigger power on the outside that actually came and did something here with man, with the humans. En nou kom hy met allerlei ander stories. Nou begin hulle te sê, en is baie nou hoor, dis History Channel, en dis oralste, as jy nou kyk, Hollywood weet alles daarvan ook. But what they are trying to say is that it was an alien, wat nou gekom het, jy weet, 'n Nephilim, en hulle het nou gekom, en hulle het nou al hierdie dinge. Dis wat die evolutionists sê. I mean, hulle is nou heeltemal die mekaar. So, halleluja, wetenskap begin nou bykom. Wetenskap begin nou te besef, maar die Bybel was waar nog die hele tyd. And so it's exciting to know that the God that we serve, and dis so sad dat jy hoor die skole, ons skole is besig om nog met paddas en dan allerhande dinge en dan die mense, they're still playing around with evolution. But ons moet opgelei word. We've got to be trained to have our arguments, to say, no, this is not true. This is a lie. So as julle weet van kinders wat geleer word in evolusie en onnies wat dit probeer push, kan ek vir julle daai link stuur van hulle topleier wat nou bubbles up. Hy weet nie wat om te sê nie. He's coming with a lot of nonsense. And so the church needs to be trained. We need to be trained. Ons moet equipped wees. Want nog al die jare het hulle gesê, ag nee, wat die kerk is so stupid. As jy wetenskap het en jy het slim, dan besef jy die Bybel is sommer net 'n fabel, dis 'n storie. But then you realize what's truth. But we've got to be trained. We must be informed. En ons moet weet hoe om te staan en te argumenteer. You must know your facts. You must know your Bible. Know your God. Okay, nou dat ons verstaan about this resurrection power that is within me. Now, I'm not going to go looking outside, dat iemand vir my daar buite moet bid. I'm going to look up. Want in hom het ek alles. And I have to seek him for myself. Baie keer as 'n beraader, dan voel jy so gefrustreerd, want jy wil so graag die ouens help, maar hulle kyk vir jou. And nothing's going to help. I mean, I can't change a person's inside. Only God can. But the person must want to. En so die hele ding is, start tapping into what God has done. If you've got that born again seed within you, you've got resurrection power that overcame death. He's alive. The grave is empty. That's the God we serve. Maar dit het so 'n cliché geword, ons besef nie regtig what we have as born again believers. But what happens is that we do get hurt along the way, and restrictions get placed upon us and limitations. And although we're born again, glo ek, my ma het gesê ek is dom, en my pa het gesê ek is dit, en my juffrou het gesê ek is dat. And so there are limitations placed upon us. And that's why we have these weekends to show you, but what is truth and how to throw off the limitations. Now I want to share with you, our emotions are the most sensitive area to deal with in coming to wholeness. Onthou gisterand, toe kyk ons wat is jou siel en wat is jou gees. So your soul man has emotions, and your spirit man has emotions. And we've got to let our spirit lead, not the soul. Met ander woorde, ek moet daai depressie wat my so afrem in my siel, I've got to let my emotions of joy, I've got to build my spirit. En baie keer, ons het in die verlede, toe ons begin het om hierdie kursus by mekaar te sit, het ons begin om te sê, okay, kom sit by ons, vertel ons jou storie, en dan het ons begin met die siel te werk. Ons het dit genoem die sielesorgskool. And then there were still people that were struggling, and I was saying, Father, why? Because I want to see everybody set free. You paid the price for everybody, but some are coming free and some are not. En die Here verander toe ons hele benadering in berading, en hy sê, some people are so wounded. Some people are they've got so many restrictions and limitations upon them. Their spirit is so small and anorexic, they haven't heard one blessing in their life. Now you want them to stand and fight and go for the giants and close the doors. They can't. Hulle het nie kapasiteit nie. En die Here verander ons benadering, en hy sê, begin kapasiteit te bou, sodat wanneer die war kom, dan kan hy staan. And that's why that first book that we do in Journey to Freedom, Man's Purpose and Gifts of the Spirit, we teach you your spirit. We teach you how to stand, how to grow your spirit. We've got a questionnaire, and we say, fill out this questionnaire, find out what are your gifts. We don't believe God has only given you one gift, because God is much bigger than that. En eintlik, as ons die volheid van die Heilige Gees het, behoort ons al 7 gawes te kan hê, stem julle saam. So we should actually be striving to have all 7 gifts. But you see, we say to you, do the test and take the top 3. And that will be the top ones. En dan sê nou jou mercy is heel onder. Dan sê ons, kom, jy moet nou begin werk aan mercy. Dat jy daarom so bietjie nou, jy weet, het help nie, jy het 'n prophet wat number 1 is, maar 'n mercy wat die number 7 is. Want dan het ons moeilikheid, want dan gaan jy net sê, kom nou, ruk jou reg. No love, no mercy. En dan gaan jy seer maak. So you could have a strong prophetic gift, but, you know, so, dit help jou jouself verstaan, hoe het God jou gemaak, en soos wat jy kapasiteit groei, en jou spirit man, you bless the spirit man, and you grow in the spirit, you develop this capacity, you understand who my God is, who's my dad, en soos wat ek dit bou, dan kom dit, wanneer ek begin om die giants te face, then I got to start learning warfare, but then I can, verstaan julle, want dan is ek mos nou sterker. And so what happens is that your emotions is the most sensitive area. Ek het gisterand vir julle gesê, it's the lights flashing on your dashboard. En ek wil hê julle moet nou voor die Here eerlik wees. Be honest, let's take off the masks. Ons hoef nie die Here te impress nie. Hy ken ons. And let's say, Father, I have a problem with anger. Iemand moet net vir my skeef kyk, of net 'n ding sê, en ek flip, en is verby. Ek het 'n week gegaan wat ek nie met Rowley gepraat het nie. That was terrible. Joh, my woede. En dan, maar Sondag is ek in die kerk, glory, hallelujah, I'm really born again, but I can't love. I don't have no mercy. En so, daar was soveel restrictions and limitations op my, because my soul was not restored. I still had a process, a journey to walk with the Lord, to deal with the wounds of my past. And so, wanneer dit kom, as jy hart groot geword het, jy sien, ek het voor die ouderdom van 6, het ek 'n hart van klip gevorm in my binneste. That was the only way I could protect myself, was to form a heart of stone. I had to be hard to make it in this world. Want as iemand jou sien huil, as jy sag man, jy sag, en jy gaan dit nie maak nie. And so you become hard, and especially, jy weet, vir al die manne, wat geleer is, man, is jy sissie, vir jou vat trane, man huil nie, kom aan. En onmiddellik leer jy om jou emosies totaal weg te stoot. And you don't connect with your emotions anymore. And so what happens is you as hard as a rock, en mense leer jou nie ken nie. En jy kan nie met mense in 'n werklike warm verhouding staan nie, because you have no emotions, you've just cut off. You are hard. En wat ons dan hier sien is this is really the most sensitive areas, your emotions. And the enemy's main objective is to hurt and wound every person born. Hy haat ons, want ons is in God se beeld gemaak. And so he wants to wound us, and specifically innocent children. So hoe kleiner as moontlik. En ek gaan vir julle nou die brein wys, dat julle verstaan hoekom hy vir klein kindertjies gaan. And so children are the special target of the enemy. Want dis die onskuld. Dis die beauty van die kind, die reinheid van die kind, wat hy haat. En hy probeer hy by 'n kind uitkom. To bruise a child when little almost guarantees to set the child on a path of destruction and pain for the rest of his life. So as hy kan by daai kleintjie begin, en hoeveel kleintjies, ek praat nou die dag met 'n vrou daar in die Kaap, sy is deel van die kindermolestasie afdeling, het sy daar in die Kaap kom doen. Weet nie of julle vir Monique Strydom onthou jy sy na man is gehijack, onthou julle? En dis sy, hulle is nou in die Kaap en Monique is besig om hierdie hele ding in die polisie te dryf. Sy sê sy voel, she's got to give back to the community, and so she's with a child unit. En hulle is besig om in die polisiestasie sy veilige plekke te skep. As 'n kleintjie inkom wat nou verkrag is, that they don't come into the cold, sterile place of a doctor and the hardness and the police and what happened, and maar dis 'n warm plek met teddybeere. And she's teaching the police how to deal with a little child. How do you speak to a wounded child? Dat hulle is klaar in die skok en die vrees. But they're creating warm places in the police stations. Warm plekke waar die kleintjie kan kom. En dan kan hulle verder met die kind werk. Maar sy sê vir my, Amanda, as jy die statistiek moet sien van hoeveel kindertjies verkragt word. How many children are being raped? It's shocking. And so this is Satan's whole plan. Get the children, destroy the children. Take away the parents through AIDS. Maak hulle orphans. Vat weg papa en mama se liefde. These bruises give the enemy a foothold. Now I don't think one of us here that can say we were never bruised. We were wounded. Ons het nie gevra vir dit nie. It happened. The world is a hard place with broken people. Praat met daai geharde ouens, daai ouens in die tronk, ouens wat moer, ouens wat rape. Dan sê ek vir hulle, God never made you a rapist. God didn't make you a murderer. That wasn't his plan when he created you. But it's the world that made you that way. Satan got hold of you when you were small. Dis die ouetjies wat gom snyf op die strate. And they have nowhere to go. So daar kom 'n manlike figuur wat soos 'n pa is vir hierdie klomp straatkinders. And then they want to belong, and to belong they'll murder. They'll kill somebody as long as they can belong to a gang or a group. Dit is hoe sterk hierdie ding in ons is. I've got to belong somewhere. Ek moet 'n family hê. And if I don't have it, and that's what Satan does, hy maak dat ons, jy weet, ek het jare geglo, ek's 'n aangenome kind. We were 5 children, en dan kyk ek so die ander, want hulle het nie een van my gehou nie. Ek was nommer 4 van 5 kinders, dan kyk ek die ander kinders, en dink ek, weet jy, ek lyk glad nie soos hulle nie. Ek is seker ek's aangenome. I'm sure they adopted me, en hulle like my niks. I don't belong, I don't have a place. As ons saam kuier, ag man, loop jy, gaan net weg. They didn't like me, I didn't belong. En dit was that whole abandonment, that isolation, that loneliness. You grow up on your own, en dan dink jy net, if I don't fight, I'm going to die. So jy word hard, en jy fight. Ek het fisies met my boeties gestooi, ek het hulle geslaan, ek het beklei tot hulle nou groter geword het, toe ek met die lip begin beklei. En ek kon goed sleg sê met my mond. But that was my way of protecting myself, because I was standing like this. Ek was alleen. No family, didn't belong. And so the enemy comes with bruises. Emotional abuse in childhood sets the stage for major problems in your adult years. Dis hoekom as 'n koppel kom vir huweliksberading, dan praat ons nie nou nie. Ons vat jou terug kinderjare toe. Vertel ons van jou pa en jou ma. Want dis waar al die wonde lê, dis waar die fondasies lê. Parental rejection is one of the most sensitive bruises. Daai ou seentjie, kan julle sien? Papa loop weg en los hom. Dis eina. Dis eina. En waar 'n pa baie keer 'n gesin net los. En hy gaan weg because there's a divorce in the family. En jou breintjie het nie die chemikalie om dit te verwerk nie. En die kind glo, dis my skuld. Dis ek, hoekom mamma en papa geskei het. And so if you've been wounded that way, that's a spirit wound. There's a deep wound, abandonment. Leaving the child to drink from the wellspring of shame and no identity. You don't know who you are. Jy weet nie wat soek jy hier nie. Jy weet nie wat jou doel is nie. Jy soek hier, jy soek daar, jy probeer dit, jy probeer dat, maar dis net, it's just, you don't have direction. You're not getting anywhere in life. So abuse cements the child's feeling of being unworthy. Gisterand toe Rowley bid, dit was vir my so mooi, toe hy sê, maybe there are those of you that have the sense of you are not worthy. Want dis rarig wat gebeur. If your father never blessed you, you feel you're not worthy. And so we're sitting with the shame, we're sitting with a sense of not being worthy. Weet julle, het ek gesukkel in ons getroude lewe, dan sal Rowley vir my sê, ek's lief vir jou man, ek wil by jou wees, en kom hier so, en I didn't trust this, en dan dink ek, wat wil jy nou weer hê? Ja, jy soek nou net weer een ding, nee. And I couldn't trust his love. Dit was so 'n groot issue vir my, because I'd shut down my heart, I'd shut my emotions. And so, you don't feel worthy of his love. You don't feel that people can possibly love you. Hoe kan hulle wil tyd met jou spandeer? Come on. Nobody spend time with you. So, I don't trust this. Hulle wil iets uit my uit hê. And so you've got your guards up. You don't feel worthy. A person whose identity has been cursed will live either under the banner of extreme worthlessness or under the mask of artificial independence, big shot and self-sufficiency. So daar's twee kante wanneer jy daai verwerping beleef. Want when you feel totally unworthy, either, skies ek leef, jy weet jy, jammer ek haal asem, jy weet, dus, skies, en elke keer as jy jou bel, skies man, jy weet, hulle sê die hele tyd, skies man, because they don't feel worthy, or it can go to the other side, and that was me, jy weet, moenie met my sukkel nie, jy weet, dit was daai self-sufficiently, I know it all, moenie vir my sê nie, ek weet, en daai unteachable houding. So, dis wat gebeur uit gebrokenheid. And we see it so much in the body. You're born again, but you're living a life of feeling unworthy. You've got so many restrictions on you, you're not living a life of dominion. And so, there are walls and weapons of defense. When we get hurt, our first response is to defend ourselves. Die oomblik wat ek seer kry, onttrek ek, en ek sit my mure op. En ek is te bang om weer te probeer. Ek het die Here gevra, waar het my hart van klip begin? Because, as a child, ek kyk my kleintjies, hulle is so spontaan. Ons kleinste enetjie van die, ons het 3 gehad wat so binne 3 maande gebore is. September, Oktober, begin Desember. Ek bedoel, hulle het begin kruip in 'n ry, toe begin hulle loop in 'n ry, nou hardloop hulle in 'n ry. En klein Hadassatjie, ons kleintjie, sy is nou so 18 maande. En sy sit daai koppie neer, en sy hardloop. En sy, want dis wat haar sussie doen. En dan spring hulle so en ouma moet vang. Nou, Dassatjie is nou maar 18 maande oud, en jong, dit kom. En dan moet jy net vang. But that's how she's learned. Is daai vryheid van 'n kind, daai onskuld. Ek trust, ouma gaan my vang. And so I said to the Lord, waar het ek toegemaak? En die Here het vir my 'n prentjie gewys, ek was klein. En my pa het van die werk af gekom. En ek sien hom kom en ek is so opgewonde, want kyk, 'n pappa is 'n hero vir elke kind. That's how God made dads to be. En ek hardloop na hom toe en ek skree, papa, tel my op. En hy stoot my weg. And the Lord said, that's when the first brick came into your heart. En jy het onttrek en jy begin toemaak. Maar nou 'n kind wil weer probeer, maybe, môre. En ek het die volgende dag, het ek weer gehardloop, papa, tel my op. En weer het hy my weggestoot, in die volgende baksteen. And I got to a place where I didn't stick out my hands anymore. Dan denk ek, wel, as hy my nie wil hê nie, wil ek hom nie hê nie. I don't need him. Ek's alright, ek kan aangaan. I don't need this father in my life. And that's what we do. We start to build walls around us so that we won't ever get hurt again. Dis die natuurlike manier om verwerping te hanteer. Some of these walls and weapons include denial. For so lank. I hide to defend myself. Stuffing the pain down to forget. Of ek het hierdie macho attitude, of ek is skaam. Maar wat gebeur het, is ek kom tikkies toe om te kom studeer. Vra hulle vir my, Amanda, wat doen jou pa? Dan sê ek, hoorie, die son skyn buite, dis 'n pragtige dag daar buite. Verander die onderwerp, moenie met my praat oor my pa. I lived like he was dead, because I was so ashamed. Daar's nie 'n manier wat ek 'n maatjie huis toe vat nie. I was so ashamed of my home, ashamed of my father. Dit was terrible met die drank en die dinge. Jy kom net nie naby die huis met 'n maatjie nie. And so, I was so strong in denial. So, nou leef ek's born again, halleluja, alles is nuut. Ek gaan nou vorentoe, maar as ek omdraai, dan is dit die huis waar ek vandaan kom. Maar nee, wat, ek gaan nie, I'm not going to go there. Die Here het my nuut gemaak, alles is nuut. I was living in denial, want dit was ongemaklik. But until I turned around, and I started to be honest where I come from. Amanda, wie is jou pa? Wat doen jou pa? And I started to tell them, my pa's an alcoholist. This is the home I come from. This is who I am. I started to be free. Want jy sien, die waarheid maak jou vry. And I could break that denial that was part of my life. I tried to live so long in denial, want dit was ongemaklik. Ek was skaam om te sê, dis waar ek vandaan kom. We completely uncomfortable with love. Julle, as hulle sê, man, draai om, groet mekaar, gee mekaar net 'n drukkie, sê hallo. Dan dink ek, wat is fout met hierdie mense? Wat druk hulle so? Toe besluit ek kom laat. Dat hulle maar druk, dan sal ek kom. Minute ek besef, die fout is by my. And so I want to ask you this day, are you comfortable with love? Of voel jy, wag. You're too much in my space now. Moenie aan my vat nie, want dan het jy jou mure gebou, jy's in 'n tronk. Wat jy dink jou beskerm, but actually it means that it's difficult for you to relate with other people and to love. And you are restricted. You can be born again, glory, hallelujah, op pad hemel toe. But you don't have a victorious life. You're not living in relationships. Jy stik en jy leef soos 'n weeskind. And so in being bruised, our hearts become broken and fragmented. Nou wil ek vir julle baie interessante, ek leer julle so 'n bietjie Hebreë volgend. You see, wounds equals unclean, volgens wat die woord wat ons nou gaan leer. Levitikus 10, vers 10 tot 11. Hierdie ken julle, but I'm going to give it to you in the context of inner healing. I don't know if you've seen this before. But it says, you shall make a distinction and recognize a difference between the holy and the common or unholy. Between the unclean and the clean. Ons ken dit. Okay, dit wat prostitusie is en pornografie, that's unholy. En dan 'n virgin en 'n rein lewe en 'n skoon huwelik, that's holy. Dis hoe ons dink. But I'm going to teach you what does the Bible say in terms of inner healing. That wounds equals unclean. And then you are to teach the Israelites, your children, the people around you, teach them all the statutes which the Lord has spoken to them by Moses. Nou kom ons kyk 'n bietjie die Hebreë woorde. Vir wat beteken, wat sê die Here regtig vir ons in die Hebreëse betekenis? Holy is die woord kadosh. Nou dit ken julle. Die song was kadosh. Julle ken mos kadosh. That's holy. Holy is the Lord. Common is chol. Lekker woord, nee. Man is 'n klomp chol. Okay, so ons moet uit die chol uitkom vandag. Okay, what does kadosh mean? We are to be set apart people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation. Okay, set apart for God's purposes to do God's things. What's chol? Anything that is man-made, self-effort and pleasing to the flesh. Waar die soul man die leiding vat. I've got to be first. I've got to be the best. Ek moet eerste staan. Ek moet die beste, ek moet die managing director wees. Ek moet die grootste kar ry, ek moet die grootste huis, whatever. But anything that's man-made, self-effort, the arm of flesh, this chol. Okay, dan die woordjie clean is ta'or en unclean is tamai. So the definition of clean, having our, watch this, is this so beautiful. Dis in die Strongs, julle kan bietjie Strongs lees, en die ander Bybel wat julle regtig na kan kyk is die Interlinear Bybel, wat vir jou die oorspronklike Hebreë woorde betekenis gee. En dit sê, definition of clean is having our fragmented, stikkende soul made whole, unity and completeness. Inner healing. That's what God is saying. And then unclean is where you are fragmented, incomplete, incapable of perfection or completion. Because we are limited. We are restricted. There's curses on our lives. We're not living that victory, that victorious life. So, nou kan ons daai woord baie beter verstaan, wat die Here vir ons dan sê. The process of being healed from your wounds is equated with the restoration of your fragmented soul becoming whole. Waar die wêreld my gevat het en stikkend gemaak het. When I now obey the word and I walk in God's ways, it means that my process of healing is now I am busy restoring. Onthou wat het Dawid gebid? Lord, restore my soul. En dit is daai hele ding, julle siele moet nog gered word. It's that journey of sanctification, that process coming out of Egypt. It's all to do with, I've got to get to clean. En ek moet die chol uit my lewe uitkry. Okay, so what we see here, clean, unclean tamai, is the fragmented, incomplete, incapable of perfection or completion. Then I work through the process of restoration. And then I get to clean, ta'or, having my fragmented soul made whole, unity and completeness. Baie keer sê mense, ag man, wat's hierdie in 'n healing story? As die Here jou vrygemaak het, is jy vry. Jy hoef nie nog deur in 'n healing te gaan. It's not what the word says. As ek die woord lees en ek sien die patroon, hoe God sy volk uit Egipteland uitgelei het, deur 'n spesifieke proses. Hy het hulle nie net in Kanaan ingevat, in die land van melk en honing, en al die vyande was dood. Hulle sou bedorwe brokkies gewees het. Nee, hulle sou regtig nie waardeer het wat God vir hulle gedoen het. Hy sê, ek gaan julle leer fight. Ek gaan julle leer staan. Ek gaan julle leer om die vyand uit julle lewe uit te kry. In die begin toe ons bevryding gedoen het, julle, sit ek en Tannie Bert vir ure, van die oggend tot die aand, nou bedien ons. Ons bid vir mense. En elke keer is dit, jy weet, selfde beginsels. We're teaching the principles of the word over and over. En ure en ure en ure, dan bid ons. Julle, dan sê hulle vir ons hulle hele storie, skryf alles af. We start, Father, in the name of Jesus. Ons laat hulle nou eers bely, maar dan, Father, in the name of Jesus, we bind this, we rebuke this, we cut this off, en ons bid, en dis ure, en ons is papnat gesweet en uitgeput. En hulle sit net, en hulle ontvang. En dan stap hulle uit. Volgende week, ding dong, daar is die klokkie. Amanda, al die goed weer terug. Dan begin ons weer, okay, kom sit. Dan begin ons weer, Father, in the name of Jesus, jong, en ons bid. En na so paar keer, toe sê ek, Here, dit werk rarig nie. Toe sê die Here vir my, Amanda, wie se demons is dit? Toe sê ek, Here, is nie my demons nie. Toe sê hy nou presies, dis hulle demons. Leer hulle om te fight. Leer hulle om die deure toe te maak. And that's what I'm doing. I'm teaching you to fight. So there's a place for inner healing. It's God's pattern. Dis nie 'n zap nie. Dit is, everything is available, but it's still a journey. Verstaan julle? Ek moet Egipte uit my kry, my denke moet ek vernuwe. That takes effort. Julle om die woord in jou in te kry, om te sit met die woord, om tyd te maak met die woord, om te bid. It takes time. Dis nie net, ek wens ek het 'n knoppie gehad en ek druk net en ek sê, loud, en die Bybel kom. Dit sal great wees, but it doesn't work that way. I've got to renew my mind. But God said that is my pattern. There isn't instant zaps. God doesn't work that way. Sê ek wil julle leer. I'm training you to stand. Wanneer die aanvalle kom, wanneer die golwe kom, dat jy staan op die rots. Jy staan en jy weet hoe om te beklei. You see, that's when your faith is tested. When the battles come. As dit goed gaan, great, halleluja. Maar as dit skeef begin loop, waarop staan jy dan? That's your faith. That's the test of faith. And that is your journey. As jy geleer het, God het my daardeur gedra, en hy het my daardeur gedra, you'll be able to face the next battle. So it's a process. And so it's this whole thing of unclean, restoration, moving to clean. And then, hier kom die anointing. Maar almal van ons wil spring en hol vir die anointing. Ek soek net die power. But the power is not going to come. And the authority won't be there if I'm still unclean. As ek nog sukkel met pornografie en secret sin, maar in die naam van Jesus wil ek hierdie duiwel bind. It's not going to work, hy gaan vir jou lag. Julle ken die storie van Reinhard Bonke, wat hier deur Afrika getoer het, en hy, wherever he went, he would pull local people to help him. It was just too much work. And so at a certain place, they were having, the workers were there, the pastors were there, and he was preaching. And as he was preaching, a demon manifested. And there was a commotion. And this one guy was screaming and shouting, in the name of Jesus, we bind you. And they were, die spoegspat, en hulle bid. But nothing's happening. Hierdie ou skree net harder. En Reinhard Bonke klim maar af, en hy kom kyk wat gaan aan. And he gets there, and the demon speaks out of this man's mouth. And he says, you can't bind me, you smoking too. No authority. And so this is very important. You will not have anointing and you will not have authority if you are not clean. So there must be a process of restoration. So an inner healing conference is so important. to deal with the restrictions and the limitations. And where I've been fragmented and incomplete, go through restoration to get to clean, to the place of having your fragmented soul made whole, unity and completeness. And then, kadosh, holy, where we are to be a set apart, chosen generation, a holy priesthood, a royal nation. Maar ek wil dit claim en sê, I am a holy nation. I am a royal priesthood. Maar dan het ek nog nie eers skoon gemaak nie. I haven't even gone through the process. A lot of times people have said to me, ag Amanda, hoekom moet ons al 'n klomp gebede bid? Ja, mos net tyd, man, die Here kan die ding net so doen. Ek sê, yes, ek weet hy kan. But that's not his pattern. Toe ek die gebede begin uitwerk, jare terug, sê ek, Here, hoekom moet ek dit doen? Mense vra vir my, hoekom moet ek dit doen? En hy vat vir my Handelinge 7 vers 22. En hy sê, Moses was well trained in the gods of Egypt, and that is why he could lead my people out of Egypt. So that is why we have to be trained. Ons moet weet hoe om te bid. Ons moet weet, we've got to have that training. Ons moet die inligting hê. Nou, baie van daai gebede is goud, julle. Dit het regtig deur gebed en trane en baie klappe het ons daai inligting gekry en ons het daai goed bymekaar gesit om die beraders te help om die mense vry te kry. And so it's still a process. It's that process that you've got to go through. It's not that instant zap. So ek vra regtig vir julle, start the process. If you haven't started it, start the process. En kom ons werk deur hierdie proses from unclean through restoration to clean, then anointing and then kadosh, holy. Then I will have authority to deal with the enemy. Okay, we can be bruised. The enemy's target is the young. This can be applied to anything young, 'n baba gelowige of 'n nuwe huwelik. Satan sal nuwe huwelike wil aanval, or new ministry. When you start and plant a ministry, he's going to go for you to stop you, and so forth. The enemy's goal is to damage us in our relationships. Dis die groot ding, hy wil jou isoleer. Our relationship with God, our relationship with our parents and our family, all relationships. Because God is a family God, He's a father. And He's put us in families to have relationship. He didn't make us to be alone. Ja, ons het mekaar nodig. Ons kan nie alleen hierdie pad stap nie. And so relationships are what make up life. Dis die lewe. This is truly life. So the enemy's strategy is to destroy and warp the foundation from the beginning. So hy wil in die fondasies inkom en hy wil eiers lê en hy wil slange uitbroei en hy wil jou vernietig, daai nuwe fondasies, so that the building is unstable and crooked. Jou fondasies van jou kinderjare, daai pyn, daai goed wat jy mee groot geword het, dis skewe fondasies. Dis leuns wat jy glo. And so growing up, maturity means that we are fully developed for our age. So, as ek vir jou vra, as jy mature, dan sê jy, wel ek 60. Doesn't mean anything. You can be 60, but you're not mature. So wat is maturity? Want jy sien wanneer Jesus kom, en ek wil net vir julle sê, Marita, I really honor you. You've done a fantastic job. Dink julle nie, dis pragtig. Sy het al hierdie lieflike goed vir die bruid, because she knew that the theme was preparing the bride for the Messiah's coming. That's what the calling is that God gave us, to prepare the bride. And so he came to set the captives free. Dit is so beautiful van ons bruidegom. En dis die proses wat ons van hierdie naweek dan deurgaan. And so, what is maturity? When he comes, he's coming for a mature bride. He's not coming for a bride wat nog pop speel. En karretjies. He's coming for a mature bride. And so, however, age does not mean that you are mature. So dit help nie, jy moenie vir my sê hoe oud is jy nie. But what is the sign of maturity? Maturity is measured in stages. Each stage is measured by the way we receive and give life. Now, because I was so broken as a child, nou sê ek volwasse, ek's mama. But you know what? Life was all about me. And my children had to serve me. And my children had to bow down before me. Instead of me being mature to be able to give life, I wanted life. En my man moet vir my, ek wil. Jy moet vir my. So life is about me. That's so immature. En die fights wat ek en Rowley gehad het, was omdat hy nie genoeg vir my sê, hy is lief vir my nie. En hy het nie vandag dit vir my gesê nie. Ja, dan is ek so kwaad vir hom. I'm a mature woman in a marriage with children, but I'm acting like a 2-year-old. Why? Because my woundedness arrested my development. And I'm immature. So nou kom ons in 'n huwelik en ek tree op soos 'n kind. Ek gooi goed rond, ek klap deure, ek vloek, ek skel, ek gooi borde. That's immaturity. I can't handle conflict. I can't handle confrontation. Ek kan nie soos 'n volwasse mens goed uitpraat nie. My favorite wapen was stilstype. Julle, dan pof ek hierdie wange van my op. En dit raak so stil. Dan kyk Rowley vir my met sulke oë. Dan sê hy, wat het ek nou weer verkeerd gedoen? Dan sê ek, jy behoort te weet. Nou weet hy regtig nie. En dan vir 'n week loop ek so, met hierdie dik mond, stilstype. Jong, die kinders tiptoe. Ma is alweer in 'n mood. My kinders het nooit na my toe gekom met hulle probleme nie, nooit. They were too afraid of me. So they went to their father. I lost my children, I lost their hearts. Kom nie na by my nie. Maar Sondag, gloria, halleluja. Die Here sê vir my, Amanda, jy is 'n wit gepleisterde graf. Jy's 'n fariseer, you're a hypocrite. Toe skrik ek. En hy sê vir my, you've got to start dealing. You can't love. You have no relationships. Jy's alles plastiek. Jy maak 'n show en jy bid vir mense. En jy's die laaste ou by die kerk uit, want jy bid vir mense. Maar dan stap jy daar uit. Dan is jy hierdie kwaai ma. Jy het geen verhouding met jou family nie. Toe die Here vir my regtig wys wat die binnekant aangaan. Ja, julle, ek het so gehuil, ek sê, ag Here, laat die wegraping kom, vat my huis toe, jy weet. Wat kan U met my doen? I mean, come on. Kyk hoe lyk ek. Ek weet nie om lief te hê nie, but I lost my children. I lost my husband. Ek het hom verloor sy hart, hy was maar net daar vir die kinders. En dit was so pad terug, but God had to show me what I'd done with my heart. I was so immature. Ek het so nikke, grille en twak gehad. Tol, julle. As julle nou ooit weet van tol. Ek was Mrs. Tol Superior. Dit was wraggies. Dit was absolute controlled. Jezebel was my second name. So we need to look at our maturity. And the only way we measure maturity is through our relationships. There are basically 6 stages to growing up. Kom ons kyk 'n bietjie. The 6 stages to growing up and maturity. Eerste fasetjie is the unborn, moederskoot. This is where your father should be connecting your spirit to God's spirit. This is where you should be blessed for 9 months. Dis waar al die blessings oor jou uitgespreek word. En wanneer jy gebore word, dan moet jou pappa sê, joh, hy is so bly, jy's 'n dogtertjie, of hy is so bly, jy's 'n seentjie. Wanneer hulle so na haar kyk deesdae, en hulle sien wat jou geslag is, pappa moet juig en jubel oor wie God vir hom gegee het. Baie keer wil die man 'n seun hê, hy soek 'n seun. En dan is dit 'n dogtertjie, en dan is die teleurstelling daar. And immediately he's lost his daughter. Because he doesn't bond, he doesn't connect with her, he doesn't welcome her. En so dis daai fase wat so belangrik is, waar that's the stage where you just receive love. Dit is fondasies. En dan jou babietjie daar, is daai eerste 0 tot 3 jaar oud. Amazing fase in 'n kind se lewe. Jy gee net daai kleintjie, jy bou in hulle in. Dan die kinderfase is van 4 tot 12. Julle, toe ek gaan leer het oor verslawing. Was amazing. They have proved with the science today and with the brain scans, if you do not teach a child in the stage of 4 to 12, if you don't teach him self-control, wanneer hy 13 word, is hy net so oop vir drugs. En hy kan in seks ingaan. And he can become an addict. So addiction is determined, Bobbikie doll. And what you build into a child in each one of these stages, moet mama en papa in die kind sekere goed inbou. En die een fase is opbou op die volgende fase. So if you've got missing building blocks, they're gone. Because you've moved on to the next stage. You kan nie teruggaan nie, jy kan nie die klok terugdraai nie. Those stages are missing. Dit is nie daar nie. Dan beweeg jy aan, dan word jy 4 en jy gaan aan tot 12 and you don't develop because your parents don't even know what to put into you. En weet julle, hulle sê meeste mans se maturity vlak is tussen 4 en 12. And that is why there are so few fathers. Because men are not standing up. Because they were never blessed. En daar was nooit daai goed in hulle ingebou nie. Nou, daar's 'n boek daar agter wat vir julle as ouers kan sê, wat moet ek dan inbou, Amanda? Wat is die fondasies? Hoe doen ek dit? Ek wens so ek het hierdie kennis gehad, julle. Nou is ek 'n ouma. Nou kan ek dit darm vir julle gee. My life's not over yet. Ek gaan nou bou wat ek kan. Where I messed it up, where I blew it. Ek en Rowley sê, we're going to be the best oupa en ouma. Jong, ons gaan net bou in ons kinders in. Because God has come and touched our lives. Daar's 'n boek daar agter. En vra vir Kobie daar agter, die breinboek. Okay, oor die brein. Die hele ding oor die brein. En die fases van ontwikkeling en wat jy in die kind moet bou. What do I put into a 4 to a 12-year-old? What do I build into that child? What do I lay in that child's life as a foundation? En dan, daai addiction, dis so belangrik, dat ek daai goed inlê, dat hy leer, man, as ek nie no juice kry nie. Ek luister nou die dag, dit was so cute op die radio, 'n mamma is besig om haar kind nou te leer, maniere en so aan. So she says to him, man, hy skree, die mannetjie skree en hy sê, I want juice. En sy sê vir hom, what's the magic word? Nou wag sy mos vir please. Hy sê, now. So jy sien daai, as hy die kind moet leer, en dit is papa, wat die kind leer, self-control. Om te sê, jy gaan nie dood as jy nie nou juice kry nie, wag tot ons by die huis kom. Jy sal sien, jy's nie dood nie. Want jy sien, 'n kind is nou. Nou gaan ek 'n groot ding sê, en julle hoor my hart. We are also living in a very broken nation, a very hurting nation. And people are making demands now. So where is their maturity? If I don't get my demands met, I burn, I break, I destroy, I burn a school. Ek dink nie, waar gaan die geld vandaan kom om weer te bou nie? Because my maturity level is now. I want my needs met now. So they are emotionally immature. Wanneer ons dit sien, moet ons begin bid. Father, we ask you to raise up fathers because these are children. They may be grown up in the body, but they are emotionally children. Hulle dink nie verder oor waar kom die geld vandaan, daai skool moet nou weer gebou word, die kinders moet maandag skool toe gaan. Hierdie skoolboeke storie. Why do we have all these problems? It's because we're dealing with people that aren't mature because they haven't been fathers. Because those that led them were children themselves. Verstaan julle? I was there. Dit was my lewe. Ek was 'n kind, maar ek moet my kinders grootmaak. En so ek het my moods en my goed op my kinders afgedwing. And so this is such an important stage, 4 to 12. So many people are stuck here between 4 and 12. And then we have adult, which is from 13 to 30. That's your adult phase. Of tot die geboorte van jou eerste kind, want dan begin jy mos nou mamma word en papa word, jou titel verander. And then we see you become a parent and then you become an elder. Nou dis vir my interessant, daar's baie kerke wat jong mense elders maak. They're 26, they're not married but they're an elder. Ek sê hoorie, dit is nie soos die Bybel my leer nie. An elder is when your youngest child is 13, then you become an elder, want dan het jy daarom al 'n paar goed geleer. There's maturity. You can start teaching the younger ones. And this is the God's order. This is the way God says. This is how we should be building into each other. Maar ons moet regtig begin bid vir vaders. Ons moet bid dat die manne, that they will start maturing. En dit gaan nie oor hoeveel woord ek kan quote nie. What's maturity? Dis relationships, julle. Dis kan ek my hart gee? Kan ek verhouding bou? Sien ek jou pyn raak? Sien ek wanneer jy seer het en ek stop en ek sê, kan ek vir jou bid? Kan ek vir jou bedien? Kan ek jou bless? That's an elder. That's maturity. When it's not about me. It's when I give and I give and I give. So God is calling us to become this mature bride. Hy kom vir 'n bruid wat mature is. That we're not just playing dolls and toying and burning stuff. Maar wanneer ons dit sien, moenie judge nie. Hoor julle? Don't judge, moenie klippe gooi nie. Moenie doodspreek nie. You know, it's so easy. Ag, jemmel, kyk nou net daar. Understand why they are stuck at a level of immaturity, just like I was. And how many of us in our relationships, we're not mature. Ons tree op soos kinders. So that is why I'm saying to you, the lights on your dashboard, the emotions, that's what's saying, hoe lyk jou verhoudinge? Hoe sien mense jou? Kan hulle na jou toe kom? Sien hulle jou as 'n veilige persoon, na wie toe hulle kan kom en hulle hart met jou deel? Do you really care for other people? Do you have compassion? Or do you judge and criticize? Ons sit in a beautiful land. And God has given us as a country a beautiful calling. There's a gift on our nation, but we've got to start speaking life, julle. Daar's 'n skrif in Proverbs, Spreuke wat sê, woe to the land whose king is a child. Woe to the land whose king is a child. En dieselfde met 'n papa en 'n mamma. Woe to the family if mommy and daddy are still children. And so we've got to get to a place of giving life and speaking life. We cannot skip stages. The stages cannot be replaced, but each stage builds upon the one before. So ek kan nie net skip na volwassenheid, na 'n elder. I've got to work through the stages that we're missing. So ek wil vir jou sê, as jy vandag erken, hier's liggies op my dashboard, I'm recognizing wounds, I'm recognizing limitations, take that book and start praying in the stages you never got. Father, help my. Help my. Kry accountability. Iemand wat jy trust. Bid saam met my. Want ek wil hierdie goed in my lewe hê. Those missing building blocks, I want God to build into me. Al is ek nou veronderstel om 'n elder te wees, but I'm stuck between 4 and 12. Addiction beteken emotional immaturity. It's hurt. You're arrested in development. That's the bottom line. Jy kan nie volwasse word nie, want jy dink en tree op. Ek wil my drug hê, nou. Ek wil my dop hê, nou. En al steel ek wat, maar ek wil dit nou hê. Ek lieg en ek bedrieg, want ek wil dit nou hê. Can you see the level of immaturity? Okay, a child's thinking and reasoning. Nou, Paulus was amazing toe hy hierdie skrif vir ons gee. 1 Corinthians 13:11. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. But now that I've become a man, I'm done with childish ways. So Paulus gee 'n groot woord hierso. Hy sê, al is jy volwasse, kom tot volwassenheid, tree op soos 'n volwassene. Don't act like a child, because when you're a child, you talk like a child. You reason like a child. You think like a child. Maar kom nou, word groot, so that you put away childish ways, you put them aside, en jy begin lewe te spreek, en jy sien verder, you see the bigger picture. So children are self-centered, me. Demand instant gratification. During childhood, 3 most important reasoning chemicals are missing from the brain. Hierdie is so interessant, dat julle dit verstaan. Daar's 3 chemikalieë wat jou brein nie het. Maar dis dormant. Okay? It's dormant, it hasn't been released and woken up yet. God het dit vir jou gegee toe jy gebore is, but it's not fully developed because your brain is still growing. So the first one is serotonin, the next one is dopamine, and the next one is noradrenaline. Nou, jy weet wanneer jy onder stres is, en jy het spanning en angs en in 'n situasie, wat gebeur? Jou adrenalien vlakke styg, en dit pomp, en jy's op hierdie high, okay? So, jy weet, ek moet vlug, ek moet hardloop, I've got to do something. Maar die oomblik wat die spanning verby is, kom ons sê, jy kom in 'n ongeluksituasie, of 'n naby ongeluk, en jy moet swaai, en dis net adrenalien, en jy kry skielik energie, en jy doen goed, jy dink net, hoe het ek dit gedoen? I don't know. But it's that adrenaline rush that God has made us, that you have the adrenaline so that you can deal with stress. So when that gets released, then your body is flooded with adrenaline. Now you can react and deal with things, but what should happen is that now another chemical must be released, which is the noradrenaline, wat nou my adrenalien vlakke moet verlaag. Maar wat gebeur is, ek is 'n kind, ek het nie noradrenalien nie. So as ek in stres en spanning en vrees, en ek word verkrag, en ek word geslaan, en ek word geskel en gevloek as 'n kind, bly my adrenalien vlakke hoog. Pom, vrees. Nou, kindertjies word dan op Ritalin gesit. They become ADHD. Because it's pumping all the time. My adrenalien het die hele tyd gepomp met my pa, want ons het permanent in vrees geleef. Toe ek 16 is, het ek 'n toesenuwee in instorting. 16. Because I didn't have the chemical to bring down the adrenaline that was pumping. En wat gebeur as die adrenalien die hele tyd pomp, is jou immuunstelsel word afgebreek en jy raak siek. Jy het allerlei verkoues en siektes, en it's because you don't have these chemicals as a child. And so, as teachers, you've got to have this knowledge. If you're teaching junior school children, you must understand how these little children, what stress are they going through at home? Because it could be that the adrenaline is pumping all the way, and so the children can't concentrate, they can't learn. dan moet hulle pille kry. And we must understand, God has so created the child that the parents, tot en met 12, moet die ouers daar wees om die kind te help om met trauma situasies te deel. Saam met die kind te bid, as daar iets by die skool gebeur het, bid saam met die kind. My klein 3-jarige poppie. Nou die aand, kuier ek daar, nou sit ek daar in die bed, kom lê by my. Nou lê ons. Toe sê ouma, weet ouma wat vandag gebeur het? Ek sê nie, daai maatjie was baie lelik met my. Man, ek gaan daai maatjie sommer bykry, dis nonsens. Sy moet nie so aan my kind maak nie. Nou is ouma sommer upset. Sy sê, ouma, ons moet vir haar bid. She's well trained. So, verstaan julle dat dit is die rol van die ouer, tot en met 12 jaar, want daar is nie daai chemikalie, to help the child to deal with stress and pain and situations. Now, if your mom and dad are children themselves, het hulle nie 'n saak wat met jou aangaan nie. En jy besef dit, and you've got to just fight for yourself. And so, these 3 chemicals are not available for you. The serotonin is supposed to calm you. The dopamine is the one that gives you joy. And then the noradrenaline is what is supposed to bring down the adrenaline levels. So these are the chemicals necessary for logic, discernment, and reasoning. Jy kan nie redeneer soos 'n volwassene onder die ouderdom van 12. Jou breintjie kan nie, it's not developed. So God withheld these chemicals so that children will be teachable. Is dit nie mooi nie? God said to the parents, teach your children, teach them the ways. But what happens if a child experiences some sort of trauma during these critical years? They are literally arrested in development. I was arrested in development. Grow up as an adult, gaan studeer, kry my graad, all the rest. But I act like a child. My relationships are broken. Ek weet nie hoe om verhouding te bou nie. Kom kerk toe. Hallo, hoe gaan dit? Nie fine, maar niemand ken my regtig nie. Because I don't share my heart, don't trust. And so you grow up very lonely. The 5 things that can happen to a child that will cause arrested development. Kyk mooi. A child can be traumatized through. Nou, ons gaan nou werk deur hierdie 5 punte. Dink aan jou eie lewe. Die eerste een, verwerping. Rejection. If you suffered rejection as a child, your little child brain can't handle it. That's a big wound. And so it's a trauma in your life. You don't have the chemicals to deal with it. You believe it's your fault. Volgende een, bloedskande. That's where somebody in the family, jou pa, jou oupa, jou broer, seksueel kom vat aan jou. Doen dinge aan jou wat hulle nie moet nie. Dis bloedskande. The next one, molestation. Dis nou die buurman. Die onnie. Something else that happens to you where you get molested. But look at the traumas you're suffering. Look at the levels. The next one is emotional abuse. Julle weet, die emosionele hammering wat jy kry. En dan die laaste is physical abuse. So those are the 5 traumas that you suffer. Your brain doesn't have the chemicals to deal with it before the age of 12, 13. And so the wounds of these traumas cause changes in the neurobiology of the child's brain. Daar's patrone wat hulle afgeneem het met scans, brain scans, wat hulle wys dat dit is hoe 'n brein lyk wat deur trauma gegaan het. And so our brain freezes during trauma. We freeze at that age of our life. So whatever met jou gebeur het, op daai stadium vries jy. Emosioneel ontwikkel jy nie verder nie. Jy bly klein, jy bly onvolwasse. So even if I grow older in years, I'm still arrested in development and I act like a child. Hoe lyk dit? Daai besigheidsman is op pad werk toe op sy skooter. Jo. Okay, and so this is why adults will throw tantrums and act like immature children. Weet julle, toe ek hierdie goed verstaan, toe sê ek, Here, dankie. I'm so grateful for this knowledge. I'm so grateful I can understand how it works and that I can help other people if they've been wounded and stuck, if they're stuck in their development because I've been there. And so what is God's design for growing up a family? Ons gaan nou breek vir tee. There's a biblical model that we want to just look at. What did God say? How do we grow a family? Now, hoe weet ons as Gentile nations? How do we know what is God's pattern? I've got to look at the nation God chose as example. And the nation God chose as example isn't because they're special and they're best and what. Is because they were God's people in the middle of the earth. The Jews, the Israelites. God chose them as his people. Jong, harde koppe, stubborn, allerlei dinge. But you know what? We owe them a debt. Because they kept the writings. The Bible we have today is because of the Jews. We owe them a debt. We owe them a thank you. Want geen ander nasie het in hulle gehad wat God in die Jode gesit het nie, om die Bybel te bewaar. So they kept the word. All this time they kept the word. So we go to the Jewish family and we look at a pattern. Weer eens, God works in patterns. I must find the pattern. As ek iets lees in die Nuwe Testament, moet ek gaan soek vir die patroon in die Ou Testament. Altyd. Is julle by my? The foundations is the first 5 books of the Bible. That's the foundation of the whole word. En ek moet dit verstaan. Alles wat Yeshua, wat Jesus ons kom leer het, is gebaseer op die eerste 5 boeke. Hy was daar van die begin af, hy's in Genesis. Jesus is in Genesis, besef julle dit? He was there. And so everything, now we look at the Jewish family, and I learn something, and I see what they say is that from 0 to 12, they call it the age of directives. So, daar's geen chemicals wat mos daai trauma kan hanteer nie. Now the parents are there to speak direction into the child's life. Dan kom dit by 13 jaar oud, and this is where they receive the yoke of the kingdom, which is where they get initiated into adulthood. For a little girl, it's at 12, for a little boy at 13. It's nou maar hoe die breintjie ontwikkel. And so they have a big party, and they start. By then, Dad's spoken to the little girl and he's told her, you've got a curtain, and that curtain is holy. And I am setting you apart like a royal priesthood, a holy nation. Want daai gordyntjie wat jy het is heilig, my poppie. Daai gordyntjie wys na die gordyn in die tempel. Want in die Nuwe Testament is ons nou die tempel. En daar is 'n huwelik, want ons het 'n hemelse bruidegom en ons is sy bruid. En daar's die hele storie op aarde is 'n huwelik. Die Bybel begin met 'n huwelik. Die eerste wonderwerk is 'n huwelik. En die Bybel eindig met 'n huwelik. Jong, die Here is so lief vir huwelike. He loves marriage. And so his heart is for what do you reflect in your family? What do you reflect in your marriage? Because you should be reflecting him. And the relationships in the Godhead should be shown in the marriage and in the family. Dit is waaroor dit gaan. And so he says, what the Jews have been doing all these years, now the scientists are proving it. Halleluja, ek raak so opgewonde as die wetenskap, jy weet, inhaal met die Bybel. En besef maar die Bybel was reg. And so up to the age of 12, the child doesn't have the chemicals and the parents are there to protect. Then they have a big party. Nou is die chemicals, nou begin die chemicals te werk. Die een oggend word jou kind wakker en sê, kom my skat, kom ons maak gou jou kamer aan die kant, bære dit, doen dit. Ja, is reg, mamma, maak gou skoon. Volgende oggend word hulle wakker, kom my skat, kom ons maak weer die kamer. Hoekom? dan moet jy weet, iets het ingeskop. Dis daai chemicals, wat nou wil sê, hoekom? Dis daai tienerjare, want nou werk jy met 'n ander mensie, want nou begin hierdie chemicals te vloei. And so, as a parent, you need to understand the development of your child. So you start working with them differently. Now they're moving into adulthood. Nou, voor die Here, is hulle verantwoordelik vir wat hulle doen. They're not under you anymore like the first 12 years. Now they stand accountable for what they do. Choices they make. Jy's nog daar om hulle te mentor en hulle te help, maar hulle staan vir hulle keuses en jy moet jou kind dit leer. Wat kies jy? Jou maatjies. Wat kies jy? Gaan jy nou in drugs in? Jy weet hoe lyk ons bloedlyn, maar jy moet kies. Wat gaan jy kies? Papa en mamma het gesê, nee, ons breek daai goed, ons maak die deure toe, maar wat kies jy? Because we all have freedom of choice. And so we see, they receive the yoke of the kingdom, dis 'n groot party, dis 'n groot celebration, en dan die volgende fase is van 13 tot 30, where you are mentored, where there are adults speaking into your life. As jy groot besluite moet maak, soos 'n beroep, dan gaan jy en hulle bid vir jou, en hulle help jou. As jy 'n kar moet koop, hulle bid saam met jou. If you need to pray for a wife, or a husband, they pray with you. You see, if we go back to God's pattern, we're going to really help our children make right choices. We've got to go back to God's order and God's pattern. But what do we do in South Africa when they're 21? We throw a big party and we give them a key. Wat beteken dit? Waar kom dit vandaan? Is nie in die Bybel nie. Dit is Druidism. Dit kom uit Europa. It's Druidism. Because they give a key at 21. They do a whole ritual at 21. That's where we're getting it from. So as jy sleutel gekry het, gooi die ding weg. Let's go back to God's pattern. Let's do it God's way. Take your 13-year-old, leer hom, van nou af, daai chemicals, as jy sien die gel, jy weet die hare begin, maak koop nou vir my hierdie gum, haar gum, en jy begin nou te sien, Boetie staan bietjie lank voor die spieël, dan moet jy weet, man, daai hormone, daai dinge het nou ingeskop. En nou moet jy begin op 'n ander vlak met jou kind werk. But you welcome them into adulthood and you teach them now you're accountable for your choices. Wat kies jy? And so we see that is at the age of 30, they do a very powerful thing. Ons het dit met ons kinders gedoen toe hulle 30 word. It's where you enter your priesthood, where you enter your ministry and your calling. Nou sê die wetenskaplikes met die breinscans, jou brein is eers ten volle ontwikkel op 30. The Bible knew it all along. The God who made us knew it all along, and He gave us the pattern. En hy sê op 30 is jou brein eers ten volle ontwikkel, dat jy nou volwassenheid ingaan. Nou die dag het ons so 'n stukkie uit die Bybel uitgewerk, en dit gaan oor die ouens wat julle weet hulle die tabernakel gehad in die wildernis, en dan beweeg die wolk, dan moet hulle weer die tabernakel oppak, and then they've got to walk until the cloud stops, and then they park again and they put up the tabernacle. But there were special guys, a special group of priests that had to carry the utensils, that had to carry the tabernacle. They were a special group chosen by God. But you know that they all had to be between the age of 30 and 50. Isn't that interesting? So there's a lesson for us that when you start walking in the things of God and you start carrying the glory of the Lord, you've got to be mature. En jou brein is dan ontwikkel, dat jy maturity, dat jy regtig in volwassenheid daarop 30. And so what we did is my son invited his friends when he was 30, and I said, Father, what gift do I give my son? And he said, buy him a leather jacket. It's a change of, he's receiving the authority of priesthood. Hy kry die mantel van priesterskap. And so we did a whole thing with his friends, and sê, man, nou gaan ons dit doen soos die woord vir ons leer, die patroon van die woord. And what the father would do is, he would take his son, when he turned 30, to the square, to the church, the city square. And there was a stage. He'd put his son on the platform, and he'd call the whole village. And then the father would stand and look up, and he'll point to the son, and he'll say, "This is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased." If he writes a check, it's as good as what I write the check. I've trained him everything I know. Now my boy, go further than what I did. Gaan verder. Ek sien jou. Run with a vision. That's a father releasing his son into priesthood. Amanda, waar is dit in die Bybel? Kom ons kyk na Jesus. He's the one that we're following. He's our Messiah. I see when he was 12. The Bible says, King James says he was 12. Maar julle weet die Jode begin tel van die dag van konsepsie. Hulle tel nie verjaarsdag nie. But when the King James translators started to translate, they didn't understand, so they counted from the day of birth, which made him 12. But if you count from the day of conception, he was 13. When he was 13, they'd gone to a feast, and he went missing. And jong Maria soek hom. Waar's my seun? Waar's my seun? En hy's weg. And they had to go all the way back to the temple, and they found him preaching to the rabbis. And she said, "Where were you? Why did you get away?" He said, "I'm busy with my father's business." He had done his initiation into receiving the yoke of the kingdom. And he took on his manhood, 13. Then from 13 to 30, you don't hear much about him. He trained with his father as a carpenter. At the age of 30, julle ken die storie Johannes die Doper. En julle weet, toe Johannes hom doop, wat het gebeur? Daar het 'n stem uit die hemel gepraat and said, "This is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased." They knew exactly what the Father was saying. It's time for his ministry. And that's when he went into the wilderness and he started his ministry. Isn't that amazing? Up at 30. So that's God's pattern, that's God's order, and we are calling back the church to take back God's pattern. He modeled it. Jesus walked it for us. And so we need to come back to what he said. And then that's after 30, you are now mature. Onthou 30 tot 50 kon die ouens die tabernakel, al die goed van die tabernakel dra. Is dit nie amazing nie? That's maturity. God didn't want to take a 24-year-old because julle weet hulle vat mos kanse, né? As jou brein nog nie lekker ontwikkel is nie, dan vat jy maar jou kanse. And so it's Dr. Phil het 'n onderhoud gedoen met Dr. Eamon, die oomie van die breinscans. En hulle vat toe 2 broers, tieners. En die een ouetjie sit met sy cap agtertoe, jy weet die cap wat nou agterste voor is. En hulle praat met hulle en vra en nee, hulle is op drugs en hulle gebruik dit en sê Dr. Phil, why do you use it? No, it's when we visit together and then we take it. But why do you want to take it when you're visiting together? Dan is julle mos nou in julle eie wêreld. So, I mean, what's the point? Nou vra hy nou sulke vrae. En hy vra vir die een ou, what do you want to become? Hy sê, I want to become a mechanic, car mechanic, I love cars. Hy sê, well, can I tell you something? I'm not going to take my car to you. Because your brain is now damaged from the drugs. You're still a child and you're going to be, 15, you're still going to wear your cap backwards. He says, I'm not going to take that chance with my car. En die ouetjie lag en sy pa sê, ja, hy het 'n kar se wiele verander en hy nou nie die boute vas genoeg gedraai or something had happened. But it is now on secular level, guys, they are proving God's word. They are proving this is God's order. So die van julle wat 13-jarige kinders het, do it God's way. Receiving the yoke of the kingdom. Ons het 'n boek daar agter om vir jou te sê hoe om dit te doen. And then when they turn 30, the priesthood, when they now mature in their brain. Okay, and so, ons gaan nie so stop, ons gaan nou eers tee drink. Halleluja. Ek hoop julle het iets geleer. Is julle alright? Ek stoot bietjie vir oggend, want ek weet die oggende is ons vars, maar hier teen